Hello and welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name's Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching us today. This week we're in Boston, Massachusetts, and we're speaking with a bunch of technology leaders in the New England area. On our program today is Mike Marcellin. He is a VP of Product Marketing and Strategy at Juniper Networks. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Rich. Great to be here.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
So I thought it made sense. I'm sure all of our viewers knows your company, but it's always good to get a fresh perspective on what you consider to be the core competency of your company and just an overall description.
Sure. Well, Juniper Networks is a global provider of high-performance networking solutions. We serve service providers, we serve enterprises around the world, public sector entities as well, all with the goal of helping them build and support their kind of high-performance networking needs. We're in actually 100 of the top 100 service providers and nearly all of the Fortune 100 and hundreds of public sector entities as well.
Great, thanks.
Sure.
And so in terms of vision and long-term strategy, can you give us some information about those things?
Sure. Well, we're really betting on two key market trends. One is the mobile internet, and the other is cloud computing. And a lot of people will say that. So let me drill down a little bit there. As we see networking become increasingly mobile, as we see the growth of video and other kind of content-rich or media-rich content growing on the network, that's creating a huge opportunity and somewhat of a challenge for our service provider customers, for our enterprise customers who are seeing video flow across their network, and their users increasingly looking to get access to content, access to applications from wherever they are. Proliferation of devices, things like certainly the iPad just coming out fairly recently, all the smartphones there, and then of course all the other devices that an enterprise would typically use, like a netbook or a notebook, all need to be connected, all need to have access to those applications in a secure way and in a way that gives the experience that the users are expecting. So the mobile internet is really an area where we're investing pretty heavily. The other piece is cloud computing. For us, and interestingly, the cloud really is the network, and network service providers have a great opportunity to deliver network-based or cloud-based, if you call it that, services, and so we're trying to help them transform their infrastructure and their operations to be able to do that. From an enterprise perspective, they're looking to make the most of their data center infrastructure. They're leveraging tools like virtualization, but trying to figure out how the network can keep up with the evolving demands of the applications that are running for their enterprise. And so, looking at both of those key trends and making sure that we're placing investments, significant R&D, weight behind capitalizing on those trends.
Now, so many of TMC's readers and viewers in the carrier space and the large enterprise space tell me that they've been building next generation networks, and that's been a core idea in their network rebuild, is just trying to plan a network for the future that can deal with multimedia and some of the other things that you mentioned. I'm wondering, does your company have a different take on NGN than what's commonly out there, or what is your view on that space?
Yeah, I think there are probably two primary components. So, if you think about Juniper's history, it's all about innovation in high-performance networking. Some of the earliest and certainly most scalable routers that helped the internet grow up were Juniper technology. And so we've got that history and we've got that strength. And so we'll continue to invest in network platforms that allow the type of scale and flexibility that the next generation network and the types of applications running on that network require. So that's one, and that's an area that we will continue to invest heavily, and that's both in investing in the best silicon. We organically build and invest in our own silicon, and then the hardware systems that support that. But the other piece of it, as you referenced, is having the flexibility and looking to the future and being able to support the next application and the next application. And so we have probably an important differentiator in how we bring solutions to our customers, and that's having an open platform. And what that means is, we've delivered a software development kit, an SDK, to our customers that are running Junos, which is the operating system that powers all of our routers and switches and security devices. and we allow partners and third-party developers to build on top of our platform. What that means is that our customers, whether they be service providers who are trying to better monetize their network, or whether it be enterprises who are trying to make sure that the network can support the applications that they're looking for, either way, they get access not just to the great minds at Juniper and the innovations we can bring, but also third-party developers around the world who are thinking about how to make the network run better or operate more efficiently. And so, I think between the strength that we have in building, high-performance networks themselves, and then opening that up to third-party innovation gives a powerful 1-2 combination.
Absolutely. Well, it's great. It's great to have APIs allowing lots of developers access to your core technology to, like you said, focus on areas that you may or may not have decided to focus on.
Sure. Yep.
I'm noticing a huge trend. I mean, everyone, I guess, is noticing this towards mobile devices and tablets. And,
right.
and next year, we're going to see a slew of Android devices on the market. And
right.
Apple is rumored to be coming out with their iPad second generation, I think in the April timeframe, if I'm not mistaken. It's February or April, one of those months. So we're going to see even more growth in mobile devices. And not only that, but we're seeing mobile devices getting smarter, multi-core processors on mobile devices. Yesterday we spoke with a company that is focusing on virtualization for the mobile device, so you can have actual virtual machines
right.
running on your mobile device. So it's apparent that the next important step is to focus on next generation networks almost for these mobile devices to enable them to communicate more effectively, either in a mesh mode or just with the network. What is your company's view on that transformation into the mobile realm, and how are you assisting?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mentioned earlier, I mean, the mobile internet is one of the key market trends that we're absolutely focused on, and probably in two big areas. One is something we call Project Falcon, and that's really taking the history of IP expertise and high-performance networking expertise that we've been bringing to service providers and building up internet networks for years now, and bringing that over to the mobile realm. And so what Project Falcon allows our customers to do is to basically seamlessly move from 3G to 4G as we start talking about the Evolve Packet Core, which is the next generation core of the mobile network. And we're kind of doing that with two key tenets in mind. Mobile service providers today, want to make sure that they can, efficiently grow up these networks as the bandwidth curve is growing significantly, or the traffic curve is growing significantly. So the economics of networking need to be addressed in a fundamental way. But at the same time, users are getting more demanding in the experience that they're expecting from their mobile device. And as you mentioned, with the iPad, you're expecting an entirely new experience than what you expected 5 years on a phone when you were just doing voice calling and texting. And so being able to do, address both the experience and the economics is really kind of how we're approaching, the solutions that we're bringing to the mobile network. So you'll see throughout 2011 continued announcements that we'll be making around our Project Falcon initiative, really with the goal of building that next generation mobile internet for our customers. The other key piece on the device side is that we've got a technology called Junos Pulse, which is really exciting for us because it brings a presence on the device. So it's actually a client that started as a service that we offered for notebooks and netbooks, and now we offer it across the smartphone portfolio. So you mentioned Android, Apple OS, BlackBerry, Symbian, Windows Mobile, pretty broad coverage across the board. And we actually just announced that we're available now on the iPad too. And so what it does is it gives us a presence on the device where we can bring mobile security solutions to our customers. I think the same trends that we saw as the internet got built up with security threats and the need to really secure endpoints with access to the internet from a wireline perspective is going to very quickly evolve in the wireless world as well. And so we believe mobile security will be an increasingly important part of the mobile solution that the service providers will need to offer.
Makes logical sense.
Yeah.
Especially now with the iOS 4.2, you've got the multitasking, and you've got the ability for background apps to be doing things that you may or may not be aware of.
That's right. And so for an enterprise, they can deploy Junos Pulse and make sure that all of their users that are attaching to their network and getting access to corporate applications can do so securely. We can look at and control malware and virus protection on the device. Certainly things like remote wipe and lock when a device gets lost. So for an enterprise, it's a great solution. For a mobile service provider, it gives them the opportunity to offer a value-added service to their customers, enterprise or consumer, and they're constantly looking for ways to drive up ARPU and get a little bit more revenue and show value with the services that they're providing. So we think it's a great proposition for both of those areas.
Now, your next generation core router, the T4000, it's an upgrade from the 1600. I'm curious if you can go over some of the benefits that that box provides for customers.
Absolutely. I mean, the T4000 is the next generation core router. It's the world's fastest router, and provides significant throughput advantages for our customers. And again, as we're seeing traffic continue to grow over internet networks, whether they be mobile or fixed line, traffic patterns are changing. The types of applications on the network are changing. The users and what they're expecting from the applications are changing. And so we continue to push the envelope. And when we kind of start at the core of the network, making sure that we are leading the industry and providing innovation and scale from that perspective. And then we move out to the edge of the network where we want to provide flexible services that service providers can turn on and off and monetize their network better. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we move to the endpoint. And so it's important to have the highest capacity, the highest throughput available at the core of the network. And we've looking at service providers. I think we had an announcement a few weeks ago with Verizon, and they're deploying 100 gig across their network. And I mean, those speeds were not thought of a few years back. And so they're seeing the traffic growth on their network. We work closely with Internet too. They're pushing the envelope with the types of research around the world that's being done, and they actually require these types of speeds. And so it's fun when we can enable new applications that are really doing new and interesting things with the network. And so we're a part of that, and we're excited about it.
I haven't had a chance to track Internet 2 in the last couple of years. I know earlier on, way back, I think it was like 5, 6, 7 years ago, I was focusing on it more, and I'm wondering if now Internet 1 has gotten so fast that Internet 2 is always trying to leapfrog, because Internet 1's, it's pretty fast now, right? I mean,
absolutely. But it's just a, it's more about the applications and the research that's being done, than it is the speeds necessarily. But being pushed to working with super colliders and doing research on the farthest reaches of the galaxy. I mean, it's just kind of mind-boggling some of the things that the network can enable, and so it's fun.
That's great. Now, the cloud is all the rage. So many companies I speak with now, whether they're in the traditional networking space or the just general technology or communications, they are seeing a huge pickup in business there. And I'm wondering, I know your company has unique perspectives in different segments of the space, and obviously cloud is important to your company. How do you see your vision as being different from others in this space with regards to the cloud?
Yeah, so certainly talk about the network being the cloud, and so a lot of what we've talked about in the past few minutes certainly applies to the cloud, but probably the heart of the cloud is the data center. And so we've got a unique perspective on the simplification that's required in the data center as cloud becomes a reality. And so if you think about applications that are being run over the network today and that will lend themselves to the cloud, you think about tools like virtualization that have helped make the data center infrastructure from a server perspective much more efficient. The one thing that really has lagged behind is the physical infrastructure in the data center. In some ways it's the same infrastructure that's been there for 10 years and the same architecture that's been there for 10 years. And so we've got a unique perspective on how to simplify that, something we call 3-2-1. If you look at most data centers today, they're really a 3-tiered architecture. And it looks just like that. It's in 3 tiers. And through some applications or some solutions that we make available today, we can collapse that down to 2 tiers. Significant OpEx savings, significant manageability ease, and when you think about the cloud, you really need that because the applications become much more dynamic, and you need to manage those resources in a different way. And so 3-2-1 gets us to 2 today, and actually we've got a project called Project Stratus, which gets us to 1. And so if you can envision a data center which has not just 3 tiers, but maybe dozens or even hundreds of nodes today, collapsing down to what operates like a single physical switch, the scale that that can support, the flexibility that that can support is a significant leapfrog from what anyone's doing today. And so we're excited about it. And so from a physical infrastructure perspective, that's an important part. We actually just recently announced an acquisition on the security side that allows us to really delve into securing a virtualized environment. So we acquired Altor Networks, and that's another piece of the puzzle. As we think about the infrastructure, we also think about the security and everything that we do. And so securing the cloud brings new challenges to the enterprise or to the service provider. And so Altor is a great addition to our portfolio of security solutions founded with our SRX line that allow us to make sure that as service providers and as enterprises delve into the cloud, whether it's building a private cloud for their own internal use or moving some of their applications to a shared cloud, security is a key element of that. And so being able to have an end-to-end story around security is also important.
Now, about 10 years ago, somewhere between, I guess, 6 and 10 years ago, your company, when you made acquisitions, they weren't as successful, I would say, as some in the industry. I mean, acquisition, most of them fail. I mean, it's a tough business. And more recently, it seems like your company has gotten better at merging these acquisitions and leveraging them and bringing these new companies into your business. What's changed?
Well, so I wasn't here then, but I think we actually did have some acquisitions that have brought strength to the company in areas like security.
Sure.
But Juniper has not done acquisitions for, I think it was about 5 years until this year. And you're right. I think our approach this year has lended to real success in the acquisitions that we've done. We've looked at areas of the portfolio that are complementary. We looked at companies that have really great technology, really deep expertise in a particular area, and again, a real complementary fit to the proposition that Juniper is trying to push forward around, addressing the economics of networking and improving the user experience. So, we've looked at areas like content caching and more compelling media delivery, and so we acquired Ankina earlier this year, which has given us a great set of assets around that space. We looked at a company like S-Mobile, which has bolstered our mobile security suite. I mentioned Altor with secure virtualization. We just acquired a company earlier this year as well called Trapeze Networks, which is a large provider of wireless LAN networking. So, looking for areas of the portfolio that we could, jumpstart the significant investment we're already making in organic R&D and bring complete solutions to our customers. So, looking for that right fit, looking for great talent and great technologies, and it's been a recipe for success this year. I think you're right.
So, looking to the future, what are some of the things that customers can expect from you?
Well, I touched on a couple with our Project Falcon around mobile, mobile packet core. Certainly you'll continue to see innovation around our Junos Pulse, mobile suite, and continuing to push the envelope with high performance networking. The other key piece that I'll say is that I talked about the open ecosystem that we have. Allowing partners to develop on top of our platform. We're going to continue making a heavy push there going forward because we do really feel like that differentiates us in how we built our proposition for our customers. We've got a single operating system that spans all of our devices, which is something that you really don't see anywhere else. And so from a third-party developer perspective, they now have access to routers that sit within the largest service providers in the world, security devices that secure majority of the world's internet traffic, a significant enterprise portfolio, customers using us for their campus and branch solutions. So if you're a developer and you're saying, wow, Juniper has all these different touch points, and now when we talk about the mobile device, extending out that far, it's a great proposition. And so we're looking for that ecosystem of developers. We're looking for people who want to have access to that significant market and have a great idea to bring, and that just brings more value to our customers. So we'll continue to innovate with our silicon and our systems and some of the software assets that we're acquiring, and we'll work with third-party developer partners to even make that more compelling for our customers.
That's great. Well, thanks for being on the program today.
I enjoyed it. Appreciate it.